And off they go from a height of some 10,000 feet or about 3 kilometers. Just let that sink in for a while. There's no room. They execute what's called a bomb burst. Just to provide some perspective, their landing area at the Padang measures only about 110 meters by 60 meters. So you can imagine the level of precision the Red Lions must have in order. And we're having splendid weather today, which means an unobstructed view. The red smoke is out, and that can only mean one thing, that they're about to arrive to a rapturous crowd. Red Lions is about to come in. Leading the charge is Red Lions team leader, First Warrant Officer Melvin Ho, who's clocked in 1,300 jumps. Making it look so easy. Next up, First Warrant Officer Ng Chin Han with 1,100 jumps. Now imagine those folks at the hotels behind have a bird's eye view of the proceeding. And you're looking at dancers from Republic Polytechnic, and they're joined by members of the combined school band made up of students from Bowen Secondary School and Te Secondary School. And here's Amos Ng, the drum major, who's typically the symbolic leader of the marching band. He's also the man who has people on the edge of their seats as he flings his mace in an exceptional display of showmanship. If you haven't already figured it out, you're listening to the band's take on Uptown Funk, released in 2014 and originally performed by American singer and songwriter Bruno Mars. These 290 boys and girls are masters at multitasking. Just imagine performing a tune, marching in step, being able to find your positions on the field in order to execute beautiful formations like the one you're about to see. Those smiley face emojis keep up with the youthful vibe of this segment, and it's also a hint at the next tune that the band will play. See if your guess comes out right. Taken months of practice, but ultimately it's about having a good time, celebrating the nation's birthday with everyone at the Padang, even you at home, wherever you are. And remember, home is where the heart is.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome
Boris Sari Kya Jula Sanjata Boris dari kiri dan kanan cepat jalan.
The parade and ceremony lends a real sense of protocol to the atmosphere, and because it traditionally features many full-time national servicemen as well, it's also an opportunity for proud parents to identify loved ones.
Bicentennial, 200 years since the Stamford Raffles first arrived on our shores. As we celebrate how far Singapore has come, we must not forget.
Now, much of that is down to Singapore's shared commitment to build a strong and resilient Singapore through the 6 pillars of total defense: military, civil, economic, social, psychological, and digital defense. In fact, that last pillar was recently added as Singaporeans are increasingly exposed to digital threats As they head on are our social and economic groups like NTUC, which showcase how far Singapore has come in those regards. On its 54th birthday, our youth also front and center of each NDP. Here are the uniformed youth organizations formed by our students. They're not marching just for show, they also represent our youth's resolve to defend Singapore and their collective stake in making sure Singapore continues to progress. Here he is, taking over command of the parade from the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major, Master Warrant Officer Chong Wee Kyong Shon, Brigade Sergeant Major, 3rd Division Artillery. Giving the parade a real sense of pomp and ceremony is the Women Police Pipes and Drums. They've been around since 1972, an incredibly skilled pipe band, often mentioned in the same breath as their international peers. They've been incredibly well received wherever they've performed, at home or abroad, and their overseas stints include Indonesia, Japan, Australia, France and Scotland. And I must say that on top of being adept musicians, these women are also full-time police officers.
Kawalan kehormatan, masa pers. Pers, hormat pagi-pagi, hormat senjata. Pagi-pagi.
Kawalan kombatan dari kiri, cepat jalan.
Marching in now are the 35 regimental colours, the 3 state colours and Guard of Honour contingents. Here's a quick backgrounder on these military flags. The colours actually originated to help soldiers identify friendly forces on the battlefield. They also served to inspire and rally troops as they issued their last stand. Now, because of how symbolic the colours are, it was considered a great honour to capture an enemy's flags. Conversely, it was humiliating to lose one's colours. So to prevent that from happening, the Colours Party was formed. Their job was to protect the flags whenever they were brought into battle. The Colours role has since evolved to embody each institution's history, honour and tradition. And having the honour of leading the Colours Party this year is Colours Regimental Sergeant Major, 1st Warrant Officer Lim Lee Kiet. Also set to feature in today's parade and ceremony are soldiers from the 24th Battalion Singapore Artillery at Merlion Park. They'll be firing this year's gun salute. The Guard of Honour contingents are proudly formed by the Army, the Navy, the Air Force and the Singapore Police Force. looking now at all 38 contingents this year, forming up and getting ready to salute Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong.
高兰高马丹靠大浪Kawalan Kehormatan Bandar ke hadapan Pandan Kawalan Kehormatan Hormat Panji Hormat Senjata Wes Rusuk Senjata Wes Jalanai Right
The parade commander this evening is Lieutenant Colonel Alvin Chu Weng Kwai, Commander Operations Group, Headquarters Naval Diving Unit. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the parade pays its compliment to our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong.
Wes Steady Ya Hormat Senjata Rusuk Senjata
Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong will now take his seat.
Taking center stage is the 24-strong combined drum band, which makes its debut at this year's NDP. Among them, members of the Singapore Armed Forces Band and the National Cadet Corps Band. It also comprises 8 drummers aged 13 to 16 from the Association of Persons with Special Needs, or APSN, Tanglin School, and that's a social service organization to meet the needs of those with mild intellectual disabilities. They've been practicing a long time for this, holding more than a dozen sessions at Nee Soon Camp and the Padang. The piece you're listening to is specially written for this year's NDP. It was crafted by military expert to Hazizi Jafar, who has a passion for working with youth. The piece starts off with a simple Sampa motif, but gradually escalates with layered drum lines and complex movements.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to welcome Her Excellency, President Halimah Yacob. Show and Go will execute a bomb burst in a salute to the nation. And here they come!
Komandan akan tembak berjuang. Isikan Bro. Koman. Tembak. Isikan lagi. Koman. Tembak. Istrikan lagi. Hormat. Tembak. Kawalan kehormatan datang senjata. Kawalan kehormatan rusuk senjata. Madam President, may I have your permission to proceed and thereafter march off the parade, ma'am.
President Halima Yacob will now take her seat.
Remember, it's not just Singapore marking.
First up, flying in from your right in a big formation is the RSAF's newly acquired A330 multi-role tanker transport aircraft, escorted by two F-15 SG Eagles. Up next, F-15 SG Eagles will perform a challenging aerial display, showcasing precision and team excellence. Get ready to witness this breathtaking shackle maneuver as they cross each other at close range. Shackle! F-15 SG Eagle will round off the RSAF's aerial display with a vertical climb, signifying progress and prosperity for our nation. Above all, our home, our Singapore!
Battle tank, the Leopard 2 SG, together with their mobile column commander Colonel NS Chin Chi Wai and Brigadier General retired Colin Teixeira, one of the participants of the first mobile column in 1969. The Leopard 2 SG is fast, lethal and very well armored, and that's why it's considered one of the finest in the world. And just in case your screens skew your perspective, these mean machines are incredibly intimidating when you see them up close. Each of them is about 3 meters tall and weighs in at 55 tons. Close behind is the Hunter, newly commissioned this year. It's the Army's first fully digitalized armored fighting vehicle Its operators have a 360-degree view and can even control the hunter's weapon system remotely. The Bionics is next up, and it's an armored fighting vehicle that dominates the front line with its remarkable mobility and firepower. It also comes with heightened safety features like rear-view cameras. And how about this for an all-terrain tracked carrier? The versatile Bronco can maneuver in different types of terrain. Here comes the T-Rex Infantry Carrier Vehicle. This homegrown vehicle can accommodate up to 12 troops, ensuring that our infantry can move swiftly and safely across the battlefield. Looking at the Belrex Protected Combat Support Vehicle, which protects our soldiers with its superior firepower. And don't be deceived by the size of the Light Strike Vehicle Mark II. It looks nifty, but it still packs quite the punch with its anti-tank missiles and grenade launchers. Surveying the battlefield are our unmanned aerial vehicles. These can collect critical information while keeping our troops out of harm's way. Here's the artillery formation's HIMARS system, firing its GPS-guided rockets up to 70 kilometers away. Surprisingly nimble as well, reaching speeds of nearly 100 kilometers per hour. The Safari weapon locating radar detects rocket fire against us with its early warning technology. It's one of the latest and finest pieces in the artillery. Nothing stands in the way of the Combat Engineer's L2 Armored Engineer Vehicle, which effortlessly clears physical obstacles for troops. And you've already seen this from earlier, the M3G float bridges, which enable our artillery to fire a 21-gun salute in the Marina Bay. In fact, it can carry up to 3 5-tonner trucks. The mobility support system is a new addition to the Combat Engineers. That rolled-up platform helps our tracked and wheeled vehicles over soft ground. Meanwhile, the Signals Formation's VSAT subscriber detachment helps the Army's different units communicate during joint operations. Here's another new addition to our arsenal. The Wheeled Recovery Vehicle can secure and recover all wheeled vehicles used by the Army thanks to its recovery capacity of 35 tons. Making its NDP debut, the Aster 30 air defense system, which can engage multiple air threats simultaneously. The system is also incredibly lean, requiring just 3 people to man. That's the MP Star and the Spider, an armed advanced missile. Now this hardware, not just for show, they're more than capable of making a difference in the field. And here are yet more examples. The specialized marine craft are some of the smallest vessels in our Singapore Navy. Yet these interceptors are built for speed. Twin engines at their rear churn out some 5,000 horses together. And helping fight terror is the combatant craft Medium, deploying our divers for special ops at short notice. This nifty boat can carry up to 15 troops, and it zips along at speeds of up to 40 knots. The Protector unmanned surface vessel looks like just another inflatable boat, but its remotely controlled navigation and weapons suite means it's more than capable of patrolling piracy hotspots like the Gulf of Aden. Next, the Scan Eagle UAV is capable of locking in on enemy targets far over the horizon. They paint a target for our frigate's Harpoon missiles over vast distances, even as we strike concurrently in the air with the Aster and underwater with our submarines' torpedoes. These weapons come in a variety of sizes, but each carries with it devastating effects. RSCF is also big on disaster relief. The Army's water purification units have been deployed to flood-hit regions, turning unpotable water into clean drinking water. The SCDF's DART Urban Search and Rescue Vehicle takes our personnel to the disaster scene, with men here highly skilled in multiple types of search and rescue operations and firefighting. Rounding the column up so far is Mobile Column Sergeant Major Master Warrant Officer Neo Boon Kui.
Against an uncertain global...
Here at home is also a big task. Appearing in formation are our bikes from the SAF and home team. Among them in black are our rapid deployment troops, the first respondents when terror strikes. Next, the Peacekeeper protected response vehicles which help defend urban installations. They're hardy and flexible, providing the perfect shell for troops. Here come the vehicles from our CBRE engineers, capable of neutralizing any bomb threat. And in the event of a public security incident, these fast response and urban emergency response cars can get to the scene swiftly. Responding in serious incidents are our police tactical vehicles, highly versatile and armored to protect our officers. I'm sure you're familiar with the SCDF's Red Rhino, which helps get our firefighters to the scene of the blaze in double quick time. And close behind are the unmanned firefighting machines and a series of robots that are able to detect and fight fire autonomously. Fighting fires and deploying rescues at sea is the all-new DART amphibious vehicle, unveiled only late last year. It transitions from land to water in just 15 seconds. Supporting them are the fire medical vehicles, which can fight fires and provide medical relief at the same time, providing crucial support in emergencies. And capping off this segment is the combined platform ladder 60, which, as the name suggests, extends 60 meters high or as tall as a 20-story building. From the various services rolling in to a thunderous reception. Soldiers, airmen, policemen, firefighters, even those from the Navy, who all played their part to secure their new home. The crowd here well aware of the sacrifices that these men have made in the early years. And this is the first time that our Merdeka generation is being featured so prominently, collectively at the National Day Parade. What a way to recognize our Merdeka generation, some might say on the grandest national stage of all, the National Day Parade. And if you thought everything went by too quickly, you can catch the column again tomorrow as it heads to the heartland. Some of these vehicles will roll into Bishan, Geylang Serai, Jurong East, Punggol and Woodlands. truly stirring rendition of our national anthem by Ramli Sarab, one of the forefathers of Singapore rock culture.